Small groups fail in most churches for one simple reason. They're leaking people at every stage of a pathway. It's not a content problem, it's not a people problem, it's actually a pathway, a process problem. And if your church is missing that pathway that effectively moves people from their first visit to active participation in the group, then your church will never be fully healthy. Today, I'm going to teach you about my 4-step simple pathway that fixes your small group leakage issue. Going to help you understand the exact points where people are falling through the cracks and how to seal those gaps with a practical pathway pipeline approach. And I'm going to give you one specific action step you can take this week to immediately strengthen your weakest link and start seeing some great results. And I've got a downloadable resource for you that you can utilize totally free. You can jump in and utilize that to help fix the leak areas in your small group pathway. Well, I've studied and consulted with churches where small groups thrive and also been involved with churches where they really struggle. And what's the difference? Well, I think one point of difference is that churches that do groups well definitely have a routine, they have a process, they have a pathway that they want people to walk down, they have a systematic approach to it, to moving people through 4 critical transition points. And I want to help you implement and really polish up this 4-step pathway. It'll stop the leaks so people will not fall out of small groups. They'll get into small groups and they'll create a natural organic flow from being a first-time visitor, a third-time visitor, into being a member of a group. So stage 1 in the pathway is the awareness stage. This is where people first learn that small groups exist in your church and why they really matter. Because the breakdown at this point of the pathway happens when churches make vague announcements or maybe no announcements. They create very unclear entry points. People are not sure how to actually join a group. Or they do the opposite and overwhelm visitors with too many options, too many choices. So here's 3 tactics to strengthen the awareness stage of the pathway. First, use the 15-second announcement formula. Problem, solution, action. Here's an example. Feeling disconnected? Our small groups provide meaningful relationships. You can sign up for one at the Connection Center today. That's probably less than 15 seconds. So use simple announcements like that. Problem, solution, action. Secondly, make sure through your weekend services that there is the flavoring of small group stories, testimonials, if you like, but even just pointing out, hey, I was hanging out with Andrew this week. He runs a great group for men that meet every couple of weeks. And Andrew was telling me about the sort of things that are going really well in his group. And you flavor your messages with that. So, Pastor, you need to have a strong awareness of what's going on in groups, maybe visiting groups, if you're running your own group, just dropping stories, pointing things out about what happens in group and how good and how influential it is in helping their discipleship life. Thirdly, create some visual pathway displays in high traffic areas, both digital and physical. Canva's your friend here. I use Canva a lot, but go to Canva and think through, is there a 3-step visual I can create that we can put on Instagram, like a bit of a slide through on the Instagram shot, maybe even put it up in our foyer, a 3-step, hey, we have groups. Hey, you can join a group easily. Here's the benefit of joining a group. Anyway, you work on that and brainstorm that with a bit of chat GPT help, you'll be fine. And put it up around your website, put it on your socials, around your church, put it up in some slides that you can show during a pre-service slideshow, whatever. Now, a few tactics there to help the awareness stage. Your key metric, you need to measure what's going on. What percentage of your visitors, and I'm talking about people who have come 3 or 4 times, can you identify, who can identify rather, how to join a group? So I'd be wanting someone who's been to our church 3, 4, 5 times to have, I think, a good awareness that groups exist and that they're possible as a joining process. They can jump into that. I reckon at least 80% of those people should be able to answer the question after 4 visits to your church. Yeah, I know about groups and I can join one. Aim for that 80%. Now, stage 2 of the pathway is the interest stage. Awareness first, now interest. This is where general awareness transforms into specific consideration. I'm actually thinking about joining a group. Now, churches break down here at this point by offering too many overwhelming options for people. They create unclear next steps. There's none of that graphic visual. And also, they might require a commitment for entry into a small group. You might have to be a member of the church or some sort of area that just makes it a real pothole on the pathway, a real speed bump that people struggle to get over. So, here's a few tactics that you can build the interest stage of the pathway, the 4-step pathway. First, think about hosting monthly or bi-monthly group connection lunches immediately after the Sunday service, where you can say, hey, out in our cafe, our foyer, the back of the auditorium, wherever in your church, we've got 3 small group leaders who are hanging out there with coffee, and they've got some nice chocolate biscuits. Make sure you have chocolate biscuits. And they're just going to have answers for any question you've got about groups. And so people have gone from the awareness stage to the, oh, I'm interested. Oh, okay, I'll go and hang out and have a coffee and have a couple of chocolate biscuits. Might even have 3, give my kids a couple as well. And I'll ask some questions and I'll kind of get into that. Oh, okay, this is a really interesting place. I think I might even join a group now. So you create a low pressure environment where people can just Q&A with group leaders. This also trains your leaders in how to recruit people into groups. And I think a smart leader would go, I'm getting every one of these people into my groups. I'd be volunteering for that lunch if I was a group leader to make sure I can keep building my group. Secondly, develop a 60-second group preview video series where you just grab your phone, get a little Bluetooth mic, attach it to a leader, and just 60 seconds somewhere in a quiet area of your building after church, and just 60 seconds of, hey, tell us about your group, tell us what you do, tell us the age group, tell us a few things about your group, and give someone a benefit of it. 60 seconds, put that on your socials, put that on your website, put that around so new people get an email with a video of a group leader. Very simple. Don't polish the videos up too much. Make them authentic and raw. And if the group leader is, kind of staring away and doesn't really know how to do a proper video and stare at the camera or whatever, just use the raw footage. There's something of their passion will come through in their eyes and in their voice. Third tactic to build in this interest stage is simplify your group descriptions to 3 key elements: who it's for, what they'll experience, and when they meet. So very clear. So when you want to put some info on your website or out there on a Sunday or in your socials, who is the group for, what they'll experience, and when they meet. So people get really clear, concise information, and it kind of gets over that sort of stage of, oh, I don't really know what to do next. Now, key metric for this, you want to move 30% of those people who are at the awareness stage to signing up. 30% of awareness and saying, yep, I'm going to join a group. Now, why don't you drop a comment down below? Let me know what sort of area you're wrestling with your small groups, what questions you've got. Post it down in the comments below. Let me know as you go through the video which stage is the biggest challenge for you. And don't forget, I've got a resource I'm going to give you at the end, a downloadable group pathway diagnostic worksheet. Sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? A group pathway diagnostic worksheet. It's a simple PDF you can download in the description below. You can check it out and you can get a hold of that worksheet, and it will really help you diagnose which stage of the 4-step pathway is where your church needs to work on to make it better. Stage 3, commitment. This is where first-time attendees become regular participants. They go to a group and they decide, I'm coming back. Now, this commitment stage breaks down when they have bad first experiences. No one follows them up. No one cares about them enough to connect with them afterwards. So 3 tactics to strengthen the commitment stage. First, train your leaders. Be aware of a person's first experience. Once that first impression locks in with someone, it's hard to shift them from that first experience. So make sure leaders know if a new person turns up, give them a great experience. Get them to the chocolate biscuits at the supper first. Make sure there's a good connection with them. Secondly, set a 3-week attendance goal with your leaders. Say to your leaders, if you get a new person, Get them for 3 consecutive meetings. Make sure you're following them up. Make sure you're including them. Make sure you're getting them back. Because if people attend 3 consecutive meetings, they're way more likely to stick in the group. And this is the stage where you want people committing to the group. It's going from awareness to interest now to commitment in the group. You want them out of the interest stage into, yes, this is now my group. And thirdly, train your leaders to do a midweek connection point to the new person, a text, a call, an email, something builds a relationship. They can even track down, have a coffee with them, but build upon that first connection at the group. Key metric for this, for all the new people that attend a group, you should aim that 80% of them commit to that group. Expect a high level. If someone's climbed over all the barriers to go to a group, you want 80% joining the group long term. Stage 4, multiplication. This is where members of the group actually go to the next stage. They develop into hosts and leaders. Churches break down here when they have an unclear leadership pathway for people to move to that. They don't do enough training and they actually burn leaders out and overload leaders. So let me give you a few tactics to strengthen the multiplication stage. When you think about it, all of your group leaders were once a time first-time visitors to your church. All of your group leaders were visitors who came back a second, third, fourth time, joined a group, committed to a group, went through that awareness, interest, commitment stages, and became a leader. So here's a few tactics to strengthen the multiplication stage of your group. First, implement an assistant leader model. Make sure every group has an assistant leader. Secondly, make sure the group leader gives people in the group tasks, someone to look after birthdays, someone to look after communication, someone prayer, someone care and follow up of people, someone car parking. If you're meeting in a house and people have trouble parking their car, someone greeting at the door, suppers. I mean, there's so many roles you can give in a small group that involve people that lift them to another level. Then you can begin to identify the third tactic, which is leadership identification. And as people do things and you have getting leading discussion, leading prayer, doing follow up with people, you can actually establish some identification markers that help you spot emerging leaders early. And a key metric here, I think you want 5% of your group members moving on to leadership roles, maybe even 10%. Now, here's your specific action step. Download the group diagnostic pathway worksheet. I'm not sure if I'm even getting all those words right. Anyway, download the diagnostic PDF. Have a look at the 4 areas: awareness, interest, commitment, multiplication. Analyze them. And for the next 30 days, focus exclusively on strengthening one stage, not all 4, just strengthen one stage. Download that and that will help you. And I think pastors do ask this question as well when they're thinking about small groups. How do my small groups actually make disciples? Well, I've got a video for you to answer that question. Watch this group here on how to boost your small groups and really maximize their discipleship potency, which will answer your question, how do small groups actually make disciples?